Hey Hope, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Coach Tim. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I appreciate you asking. So I'm glad that you dropped by again today. I know that we had some uh, big topics of conversation yesterday that really weighed heavily on you from what our conversations were yesterday, and I can understand that. I mean, some big topics we talked about yesterday.
Yes, they were.
So just so that you're aware, like I think it's one of the things I gotta say. Come into my office. It's all purely confidential. Nothing I'm going to say, talk to anyone else about anything, and we're going to make sure that you feel safe and sound in here so that we can have these conversations.
I appreciate that.
So, I mean, first and foremost, I would like to discuss some of the things that we talked about yesterday in terms of your goals. And I think one of the bigger ones was that we were, I know that I was, and you shared your concern also with your health. And having unprotected sex is a big concern. And we wanted to make sure that we did talk to the nurse. And I just wanted to follow up with you to see if you did indeed sit down with the nurse and have a conversation with her.
Yes, I did. She wasn't available at first, but I was able to go back at a later time. So she just talked to me about why we had unprotected sex, and then she like shared some materials and things about the hazards of having unprotected sex. And then she also talked to me about just moving forward, just being more cautious about things if we choose to go that route. Me and Bobby choose to go that route, but like I told you yesterday, we probably won't. And then she said a little bit about, just being aware of my body. I might have to disclose some things to my parents, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. And that if I think I might be pregnant, then I can always just go get a test myself and test myself. But I don't know.
So what I'm hearing is you had a lot of big long conversation with the nurse, and she did give you some really valuable information to go with. So I'm glad that you took the time to find her and go back. So I applaud that you did that because that's a big step in choosing the proper health of your body and making sure that you have the ability to do some stuff in the future that you have some plans for yourself, like I guess. So I did hear in there that you brought your parents on. So it sounded like you said that you have not spoken to your parents. How do you feel about
Like I told you yesterday, um, we have a very spiritual, religious background, and premarital sex is within the context of that background. It's not permitted, or it's not supposed to be permitted. It goes way against our religious beliefs. Like I told you yesterday, that's why the guilt started sitting in, and it's still sitting. I just don't know about telling my parents right now. I don't think I'm comfortable enough to talk to them about that. Like, I can talk to my parents, but I don't know about talking to them about that. I don't know.
that? So you don't think that you have a strong enough relationship with them to talk about something this big?
Um, Not that big. Like, that's big. That's really big.
Do you think maybe it would be, I'm sure as a young lady that talking to your dad about maybe having sex with someone might be something that may be embarrassing, maybe a little bit, I don't know. But maybe there's some opportunity for maybe you just to talk to your mom. I know that for me, I've had some big things happen in my life that talking to my parents was very beneficial, and I really felt after the fact that it was the right decision. Maybe beforehand it felt a little uncomfortable. I think with some of these big things that you do in your life, that having some of that support from your family, and when you get married, you want your dad to walk you down the aisle, or when you have kids, you want your mom there to hold your hand. I'm sure those are some of those things down the road that life-changing events that like this, which I would consider the first time you had sex, coupled with having unprotected sex. Those are a lot of emotions tied up in there in these issues. If we don't take care of them now, maybe down the road they can catch up with you. So if we learn from those mistakes now and really pay attention to that in the future. Maybe that's something that could be helpful for you.
Yeah, but maybe in the future. But right now, I'm just thinking about finishing school, going to college, finding the right job. Like I told you, Bobby and I, we're not even thinking about marriage. And then the possibility of even thinking about being pregnant and bringing my parents into that, I'm not ready. Maybe if I find out I'm not. Maybe if I test and make sure everything's okay, maybe I can get that.
I think what I'm hearing in there is that you have put some thought into your future and really have put some things in perspective. Maybe even made some goals without you really knowing. Subconsciously you made some goals. Sounds like you want to go to school and have a family and raise some kids. So I think that those are all mature decisions. And just like you come in here to talk to me about this, I think this is a mature decision on your part to to understand that there are implications that these consequences that these decisions in our lives make. And as adults, maybe we understand that because we have the perspective too. But as a teenager, maybe not so much perspective. So, so it's good. I'm glad that you've had some time to think about this and make some pretty mature decisions on your part.
Yeah. I just know that, like I said, I don't want to be at home when I graduate from high school, and just the thought of if I could be pregnant, that like stops everything I'm thinking about doing with my life, you know? So, like, what do you think I can do about, like, getting over how I feel about this guilt and this self-doubt, this crazy decision that I made?
I think when we're human beings, I think we question some things in our lives, and especially some of these bigger things that we do in our lives. I think it's only natural for you to question it. Maybe it's our own way, our own process of being able to make sure that maybe we don't make some of these same decisions in the future, and our way of learning and understanding. And it really sounds like you feel pretty strongly that this was something that maybe shouldn't have happened in this way. I'm not saying that maybe, I can't speak for how you feel about Bobby and Bobby feels about you, but I think the unprotected sex part is something that you can do something with. I think maybe the first step was educating yourself with a nurse, and maybe moving forward, you could do a little bit more education, maybe go to your doctor, maybe even go get an STD test. That might be something I think we discussed the other day. I think that's something maybe you should go to a doctor and seriously consider. Do you think that's something maybe you do?
Do my parents have to know? Because, like I said, I'm not really ready for them to be involved in that, but if my parents don't have to be involved, I'll go.
Well, I'm definitely not a doctor, so I don't. I know not necessarily sure what those requirements may be, but maybe there's an aunt or someone that you do feel comfortable with that you can rely on maybe a little bit, and maybe take you to something. Maybe the woman's clinic, and you can go down and you could do that. But again, I'm not 100% sure there, so I do know that it would be important for you to pursue. I think your health is paramount, and it should be something that you don't take lightly. Would you agree?
I totally agree. Like I said, it's not more the physical side. Because like you said, the material is there to read and be shared so that you understand, it's more of like the emotional side that I'm like hoping to feel better about.
Well, I do know that we did talk about your spirituality yesterday too, so it sounded like you were pretty spiritual in your beliefs, and your family seemed to have some spiritual background that you definitely felt strongly about. I know that we did maybe bring up your pastor or someone in your church. Maybe there's some counseling in the church that you can seek and talk to someone about in that environment, maybe not in the school environment when all your friends are running around the hallways or something of that nature. So maybe something a little bit more private where you can go in and maybe they have the resources there. So that might be something to consider. Maybe going to your church and talking to someone in your church.
Um, Maybe I can consider that. But you did say something like, that's another fear I have. Like, if Bobby, like, talks about this, like, I really don't want him to say anything because I, like, don't want people to, like, look at me different. I don't want to be judged differently. I want to just be seen as the girl who does her work and, participates in what I participate in. But I don't want, I think they call it, like, locker room talk or something. Like, I really hope that he doesn't say anything.
Well, I think maybe something to be aware of is some of the repercussions that we have to the actions that we do, and things that do go on in our life. And I'm not too sure about your relationship with Bobby, but it sounds like you feel he's pretty special, and it sounds like you guys you talk. And, in our conversation yesterday, you did discuss the fact that you did talk with him. Maybe it's something you're just truthful with him, and you do discuss with him that your feelings. Maybe you share some of your feelings with how this makes you feel and how it potentially makes you feel. Maybe that's some of the responsibility of having sex with someone is being able to, if you trust them enough to be intimate with them, maybe you can trust them enough to talk to you about your concerns. Do you think you would feel comfortable talking about your feelings with Bobby?
Yeah, I just, how boys are. They want to brag about that kind of stuff, but I just hope that I'm special enough to him that he doesn't do that. Maybe you can talk.
I would, as your counselor, I'm going to advise you maybe some of the better things that you can help set some goals for you and make some good decisions or help you make some good decisions. Bobby's going to have to talk to his own counselor. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you really put some thought into what went on. I think it's important. You did set some goals for yourself, and you did follow through with some of those goals. And I think that's an important part of this process. Maybe this process will help you feel better. Maybe, like we discussed earlier, it'll help you make some decisions. I think that in our conversations, I think you've definitely expressed your feelings and concerns for your health, for your relationship with Bobby, for the relationship with the Lord, with all the things that really are important to your life. And I think that really being able to be truthful with yourself and know that you maybe made a decision here that wasn't quite in line with some of the things that you believe in your life. Maybe we can learn something moving forward.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to feeling better about this.
It was really something. I appreciate you coming in. I think, like I said yesterday, I always have an open door policy. I want you to feel comfortable to come back in. I want you to know that if there are some other issues that come up and you feel that you need to sit down, we can definitely talk about some things at that time. I think that would be something that might be productive if you do agree. I do think that you should continue to explore making sure that your health is okay. Maybe, like we talked about, you definitely go talk to a doctor, maybe go talk to a counselor within your church who can help you out. But I definitely feel like you thought about this, you put some honest to goodness thought into it, and you were honest with yourself and mature enough to understand the repercussions. And I think that setting some of these goals and being able to do so many things could really be beneficial for you. And I hope you agree.
I do, Coach. I appreciate you.
All right, well, I appreciate it. Take care and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
You too.